And cut to the massive brothers and sisters. We are finally back. We finally made it to another one, brothers and sisters. The very first out of two reactions I'll be dropping on this YouTube platform. Welcome to this here Mystelics Reacts channel, brothers and sisters. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that. And of course, subscribe and turn on that post notifications so you can get the latest vibrations when they tend to come through as well. You can also check out the latest podcast I actually did on the BrBpTV platform. That link will be in the first comment. All the links will pretty much be in the first comment in the comment box below right there. And then, brothers and sisters, without further ado, let us get into the vibrations for today. Of course, we have this very sentiment that is indicated to us, brothers and sisters. And of course, Michael ASTAPHAN'S. I think it's probably related to Tony ASTAPHAN'S, Tony or whatever that is, brothers and sisters. Of course, he's writing a letter, an open letter about DOWASCO, not DOMLEC. Of course, we know there's an issue with DOMLEC already, but there's another issue with DOWASCO. And of course, Michael ASTAPHAN'S is definitely writing a letter in that regard right there. So we're going to check it out right there. Michael ASTAPHAN'S, you know, the address, what, blah, 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 DOWASCO. Yes, brothers and sisters. Anyways, dear Mr. Etinoff. Interesting right there. Further to the letter I wrote on DOWASCO as a concerned citizen and the failure of DOWASCO. So DOWASCO has definitely been failing. Brothers and sisters, before I continue this, I must make a mention that you must understand that although we are seeing the company, we must understand who exactly is behind the company. Okay? Do we see DOMLEC? We must understand who exactly is behind DOMLEC. Most of it, brothers and sisters, is as a result of the government, and the government is doing this willfully to the people of Dominica. Anyways, so further to the letter I wrote on DOWASCO as a concerned citizen and the failure of DOWASCO, its board and shareholders to follow the rule of law in violation of the Water and Sewage Act, Chapter 4340 of 1989, in its attempt to implement a water access charge. That's something that never really settled with me, brothers and sisters. How can they decide I'm just going to charge you extra on this and this is what you have to pay? It's not on the basis of your consumption. They just decided, hey, we want to do this, and that's what we're doing. Brothers and sisters, if you think DOWASCO is a company that's operating on its own, it's a private company operating on its own. If you think that is the case, brothers and sisters, and they decide, you know what, they just want to charge you stuff for utilizing your water that you bring in that they bring into you, it's very interesting, right there. If you think that it is them operating on their own. Anyways, in its attempt, of course, to bypass the 1989 Chapter 4340, I now write to show how DOWASCO's implementation of this access charge is unfair and unreasonable for any utility company levy on its customers in any part of the world. Any part of the world right there. I will use Mariner Enterprises' experience to show how this access charge is unfair and unreasonable. We don't even need all these, brothers and sisters. We already know it's unfair and unreasonable the way that they have put this thing forward and say, hey, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it's interesting that nobody has said anything from this. Nobody has indicated, hey, you charging us this, we're not going to pay that. You put in this, we're not going to do this. It's just like everybody's accepting. You know, Dominica tends to feel like it's defeated for some reason. Anyways, the DOWASCO Management Board, blah, blah, blah. The minister and the shareholders acted irresponsibly and in total disrespect for its customers, people of Dominica, by failing to give an account to the people as to how they are fulfilling their obligation as per section 27 and 28 of the Act, by not ensuring that a copy of its statement of account, once audited, and any other report of the auditors as per section 33(1)(a), 33(1)(b), and 33(1)(c) will laid before the House of Assembly as soon as they are received as per section 33(2) of the Act. Now, it's very interesting, brothers and sisters, when people are doing things to the people, don't they generally have to pass it through the House of Assembly for real? You know, you cannot just say, I'm going to do this, bow, and then drop this on the people and say, that's it. Was this discussed and say, okay, this is what we need to do and this kind of things? Did the people agree? You cannot just put price on people. It never really settled with me, brothers and sisters, but apparently it doesn't seem like people really care. They just, let's put $100,000 on them and let them pay. You know? In any public utility rate or charge increase that requires its customers to pay more than 20% of their monthly average is categorized by any regulators of utilities as being unfair and unreasonable, guys. Anyways, this is why there are requirements in law directing utility companies to monitor the cost of operations continuously and to report annually to the people, its customers, obviously, by laying the company's reports before the House of Assembly immediately upon receipt. Of course, Mariner Enterprise Ltd consumes an average about 2,460 gallons per month, or $36.57 plus 1967, blah blah blah. You guys can read this stuff for yourself right there. When compared to our average monthly cost of $65, let me bring that back so people can really see what's going on there. When compared to our average monthly cost of $65.28 for the last 5 years, we now have an increase of $169.24 per month, or an increase of over our average monthly charges for the last 5 years, or let me leave that there. For the last 5 years, or over 350%. That's an increase, brothers and sisters. That cannot be considered fair and reasonable for any utility company to increase the consumption rate by 350%, especially if that utility failed to follow the rule of law on several counts, as explained above. Now, brothers and sisters, when you look at these things and you wonder what's really going on, what's really going on, what. Well, it just seems like they're just deciding to put fees on people and let the people pay, and then scared to come on radio and say, man, the people can handle that, man. The people can handle that. The people can already handle what is already given to them. You put in more fees on top of them while increasing your own salary. Not the people's salary, brothers and sisters. The government's own salary. And you think that the government will get paid on the merit of doing things, doing things for the people? No. I don't know. It always brings me back when I look at the United States as well. You have a sitting government saying that they want to do things. They can do it now, but they're not doing it. They're waiting for them to be elected again for them to do it. Why? Pretty much bringing up inflation. Inflation is one of the greatest things. We're talking about increasing prices right there. And I'm mentioning it so it makes sense to you guys. They are the ones that cause inflation by overprinting money. Over $200 billion was sent to Ukraine. They're printing money. $400 and something billion has already been spent on the illegals coming in, starting up schools, and all those kind of things, housing, all those kind of things there. Printing money like crazy. About 80% of the United States currency is printed, brothers and sisters. This year and last year, the last 2 years, brothers and sisters, we're talking about right there. 80% of circulating money was printed money. Let that settle in right there. Now, you think that the people will say, hey, this is happening and that is happening. Something is wrong in that regard. Some people are making noise, and the other people who are seeing it themselves are making noise against the very people who are saying, hey, this is wrong. The inflation was literally caused by the government of the United States. Literally, there's no if or but or spending, brothers and sisters. If you look up the definition of inflation, it's saying government expenditure, government spending, and government printing money. Plenty money was printed. I remember just before they were saying this, brothers and sisters, the president was saying that America would be at the blunt. They were talking about the Russia and Ukraine situation. America would be at the blunt, and this was just before a while. Brothers and sisters, 20% increase. There's something that actually sent. Let me see if I can find it for you guys right there. Hold on. And I'll get back to this. I hope you understand the whole gist of why I'm saying what I'm saying right now. Okay, guys, I got it right there. Because some of you just believe Mystelics just see what you want. Well, there you go, brothers and sisters. And we're talking about the United States. We'll come back to Dominica in a while. Because I have a lot of United States people that tend to watch my videos. Mystelics, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Brothers and sisters, they are the ones that caused this. The Democratic Party caused the average rent to increase by 26%. Median home price 27%, groceries by 26%, mortgage rates double, brothers and sisters, 80% up. Look at there. New research shows that about $11,000 increase for the Americans to live in the same way that they lived back in 2023. Right there, or even earlier before that, brothers and sisters. That's to get you to understand that they say it was for a while. That's not the case, brothers and sisters. Same thing that is happening in Dominica. Prices are increasing, and people just, everything just, they are the ones that caused it. I want to come back in office to fix what they caused. It's not to say that the place was going down, brothers and sisters. The place was okay. They caused it. They cause it. The same thing back to Dominica, brothers and sisters. What is happening with DOWASCO and Domlec is caused by the very government themselves. It is caused cause and effect by them. I remember when the lady in Domlec was speaking and saying, we need these things, and you know all the profits that Domlec has been making up over the years. They could have buy the generation capacities instead. Scary them decided going to buy the generator, rent it or whatever they do, to rent it to Domlec. You know what it is, brothers and sisters? It is better to take a mortgage for your house than to be renting apartments. You know why? Because one, it's a possibility that the mortgage will be cheaper than your rent. Two, you will also be putting money towards something you will own. If you're constantly being paying rent, you will not own this thing. You'll just have to use it for a while. You will use it for a while until you move on to something else or this kind of things. But when you put in money towards your own thing, your own investments, that's better for you. They literally did not allow Domlec to do this. They rented it to Domlec instead, and people just doesn't understand what is going on. Anyways, brothers and sisters, this is an attempt to have your consumers pay for DOWASCO's management about blah blah blah. You get the point right there. Mismanagement of the utility by violating the Water and Sewage Act 1989 as outlined above. So the injustice of DOWASCO's access fee is made even more damaging and reckless. So on top of that, they have the access fee on top of people, brothers and sisters. What do you think is causing all this? I mean, people think now, my goodness gracious. Think, my God. People always want to, oh, that's how I feel, and this. Put away, sometimes, brothers, we need to put away our feelings and start using logic to think. Because the more and more we go towards this feelings thing, it doesn't help, brothers and sisters. Your feelings can change. Logic doesn't change like that. Logic doesn't change like that. You make decisions on more sound information, not on your feelings. Oh, I feel this way. I feel, oh, he's my husband. All kind of foolishness people just be saying, brothers and sisters. The injustice of DOWASCO's access fee is made even more damaging and reckless because the minister responsible for DOWASCO has approved an access charge that is unfair and unreasonable. In addition to the body that is charged to ensure utility rates are fair and reasonable. They always talk about, oh, this fair and reasonable. So we'll have bring the IRC for Domlec and say, oh, we try to say we can make it fair and reasonable. Like that, they want to increase prices on the people just like they are doing there. All you doesn't see these things, man. Oh, God in heaven, have mercy on human beings. Human beings are truly sheep, man. Anyways, the injustice of the DOWASCO access fee is made even more damaging and reckless because the minister responsible for DOWASCO has approved an access charge that is unfair and unreasonable. In addition to that, the body that is charged to ensure utility rates are fair and reasonable has not functioned for years because he has not appointed persons to the Public Utility Commission as per Act 4301. Tell me this is not willful. Somebody out there, tell me if this is not willful. As a result, it is unfair, unreasonable, and unjust to expect your consumers to pay an access charge that the minister approved in total violation of the Water and Sewage Act, Chapter 43.4 and 40, 1989, right there. We expect DOWASCO, the minister, and the holders to come up with an access charge and a rate that will be fair, reasonable, and just, and is based on the consumptions patterns of the consumers. For example, an access charge of 30% of your average monthly charge for the last 5 years. I myself don't believe there's supposed to be no access charge because they have been making, well, they say they're not making money. That's what they say. Oh, water is free. You pay for the things to bring it. Yes. If that is the case, I mean, it's not every day they bring in your pipe and stuff to your house. I mean, things can happen, broken stuff, but you're still paying a fee. I think, it'll make sense that you pay a fixed rate when it comes down to this situation. Pay a fixed rate. Everybody paying what, $60 or what, $75 per month. Look at the average of the people all around. It makes sense, not true? Because then when you're paying, say 50,000 people paying for this stuff, you have good monies coming in every month. So whatever is damaged and this kind of things, you can fix them on top of the monies that is already there. Anyways, an access charge of 30% of average monthly charge for the last 5 years. Increase, what is that commission? Empty. Anyways, increased by 10% from 36.57 to 40. That's a decrease. Oh no, that's an increase. 46.57 to 47.54. Rate charge increase. I think this is something about the meter usage. Anyways, from 1357 per thousand to 1754 thing. I guess, but if they do it based on the consumer's consumption rate, brothers and sisters, I think people will decide, okay, let's use less, you know, let's go to the river more. And these things, instead of having to pay a mandatory $15 or $100 or what is it, $800, boy, them man really something else. Business is feeling it. That's probably why the ASTAPHAN'S are speaking out now, because it's part of the businesses or whatever. I'm not sure if he has business or whatever, but you know, we have already ASTAPHAN'S business. Maybe there's a family business, and as a result of their company being big, they have to pay $800 just like that. You know, sometimes it's interesting when you listen to certain people. I'm not talking about this individual specifically, but individuals never make a motion on, they never speak out anything unless it starts bothering them. And I think that is one of the problems that the world is facing, because if it's not bothering me, I don't care. But when it starts bothering you now, because you don't care in the beginning, doesn't mean that people will start to care, you know. And I think that is one of the things that the elites or the people at the top know. They want to bring things, oh, it doesn't affect me, so that's not my business. Okay? The people that it affecting, complaining, you don't giving them help, you giving them support, it slowly dies down. And then you come into the picture now to try, when it starts affecting you, you come into the picture trying to solicit the help of the people that you did not listen to because it starts affecting you. I mean, human beings need to think together, you know. Think as a unit, my goodness gracious. This is not good at all. And I see this prices increase will be high. Yes, true, but people can still decide, you know what? I'm not gonna leave my water running. I'm gonna collect rainwater. I'm gonna go to the river. So when I go to the river, whatever, collect my stuff, I'm going to go to the source instead of drinking the pipe water, because the pipe water is already not good, brothers and sisters. Do your research. So with these sentiments, people can still decide, even if there's a water increase, then, you know, they can decide, okay, I'm going to use less water to try to at least not pay more than I used to pay back in the day. You get my drift? But when you have a mandatory price on you, I think that's kind of crazy. It's very, very crazy indeed right there. The above recommended approach, if applied to Mariner Enterprise June 2024 bill, would give an access charge of $19.58. Blah blah. You guys can read this stuff, but you get the point already. We are appealing to the DOWASCO management and board of ministers and shareholders with immediate effect to do what is right and just, and abandon this illegal and discriminatory access charge that is unfair, unreasonable, and unjust, and may well violate Section 13 of our Constitution. The question I remember asking Mr. Henry Shillingford, guys, definitely check out that podcast that I did, and I was like, why don't the lawyers come together and do something? Because in the United States, it's not people that go into, hey, let's do this and that. No, they take lawyers. Lawyers come together where they have to represent that lawyer, and that lawyer speaks on the behalf and everything like that. They come together and they say, hey, what is happening? There's a lot of them that came together as a result of this whole Rona situation that took place. And as a result of that, that thing blew up. This is why I was warning people about the whole Rona situation. Warning, doctors were making noise with me, boy, thinking that they knew better than me. And I'm not saying that they don't know better than me, you know, brothers and sisters, but that instance, they definitely did not know better than me. That's why you have to use your common sense. Come on, use your brain, brother. Use your brain. Seems like the medical fraternity is just being told what to do. You get a little research here, and whoever company is paying these people to do research, and they pass it on to the medical doctors, and the medical doctors say, well, this is the research. And they say peer review of the people who are paid by the companies to push this. And people don't see what's going on, man. There's one day we will wake up here, but I'm fearful when we do wake up, it'll definitely be too late right there. It's interesting that people are saying what they're gonna be doing. I one of the things I pay attention, the same thing I'm seeing in Dominica is the same thing I'm seeing in the United States. They literally come and tell you what they're doing, making it seem like it's jokey. Remember when the Prime Minister was coming and tell you, what about you, about your healthcare? Dominica healthcare doing better now. We have nice buildings, brothers and sisters, but Dominica healthcare worse. He can still send his family members overseas and then asking you, what about you? And the people clapping like some Ted Calbas. We really don't shit. Some people really, I'm not saying, well, let me take myself out of that because I'm not in this dotage business. I like to see things, try to analyze it and see if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense to me, somebody better come with something that actually makes sense to counteract what I already, that making sense to me. Because if people come in with their nonsense and it don't making sense, brothers and sisters, it's nonsense we are praying. Nonsense. That's why it's so important, brothers and sisters, to do your own research. It's interesting on that merit there. That's something that they're trying to take away from people. I remember doing the whole Rona situation and the ending news reporters, they were speaking and saying, don't do your own research. People say, no, do your research and these things. That's not good. Listen to the experts. The experts were the ones bringing forth the lies to people. And people still don't learn. Boy, I tell you, boy, humans are really sheep. Really sheep. I see that every day. And sometimes the obvious thing is right in front of your face. We obvious. Just like I kept mentioning about the United States President them. These people are in power at present and can do the very things that they are campaigning to want to do in next if they win elections. They can do it now. Boy, they are in power now. Making claims that they will do things that they have caused. Something else, boy. These people cause these disasters in the United States and want some people to vote them back in. Obviously, you know the American people are turned against them, so they bring in a set of illegals. And as a result of bringing the illegals in, they are doing what? They are doing what, brothers and sisters? They are helping them, providing schools, housing, all these things for these people. All these things for these people. And you think that the American people will see this. There are still people supporting that move. Just like laborites in Dominica, they're supporting the chaos. And when I keep saying, the Dominican Labour Party people have the same mind frame as the Democrats of the United States. So you think it's joke I'm making? It's the exact same thing. Somebody prove me wrong. Anybody prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I want all you to prove me wrong. This is one of the ways I base my videos, you know. When I make certain claims, I want you guys to prove me wrong. I haven't been wrong since I was 12 years old, brothers and sisters. Since I was 12. And the thing is, I talk in there and I know people still. Hey, but you never know. One or two might take a listen and say, hey, what he's saying there makes sense. So they'll go and do the research and say, but Mystelics, but what you're saying, it really makes sense. You know? Because sometimes I've been arguing with people in groups and so you presenting the evidence for them and the nonsensical arguments that they're trying to bring up that have no merit in any fact at all. Zero. But that is what they believe because the nonsense is what they are siding with. Why don't, boy, they say the mark of intelligence, brothers and sisters. Mark of intelligence is not knowing everything, you know. The mark of intelligence is when you have your own biases and then somebody bring new information to you that makes sense, that counteracts what you think. It literally debunks what you think. And then learning to change, to adapt away from that bias because you have been brought the information that has changed your mind. That is intelligence. That is true intelligence, brothers and sisters, because you are able to move away from that of which you once knew. New information tends to come up from time to time. And when new information comes out from time to time, you make necessary changes. Necessary changes are needed for better decisions. It's one of the reasons why Dominica keeps going down the drain, because we are not making better decisions, even though the people know. And it's one thing to know the truth and know facts, and then still decide, but you know what? Well, that is my team. That's why when people ask me, Mystelics, UWP, and no, I'm not UWP, brothers and sisters. I support the United Workers Party at present, definitely. But I'm not a supporter, so to speak, as thing. I'm a classic liberal. We see the plight of the people. If DLP, the Dominican Labour Party, is screwing up the people, I will say, hey, they are screwing up the people, they need to come out there. There's literally no elevation for the people of Dominica. None. Zero. Are you mad? People only make elevation when they leave Dominica. There's a guy I see on Instagram, he was in Dominica before. He wasn't elevating, he was doing this thing here and there. Now the man go overseas and he's doing his thing now. He wrote a very song saying that same thing. How do we make it? How do I elevate unless I leave? unless I leave and is elevating outside of Dominica, brothers and sisters, you do see that there's an issue. Just like Dominica, speaking to some of my colleagues here, and we were saying the same kind of sentiment. They know about Dominica, they know about Skerrit and all those kind of things there, and they know Dominica's potential. Dominica has the best potential in the entire Caribbean. The best in the entire Caribbean, brothers and sisters. Nature galore. We kind of prey on agriculture. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. Really? With our factories set up to utilize, boy, I tell you, that can create jobs. I listened to the Prime Minister on the basis of the cannabis industry. Guys, listen to that podcast right there. It's in the first comment in the comment box below. The Prime Minister himself said that cannabis is not a growth factor for Dominica. In its infancy, it was a multi-billion-dollar industry. If Dominica got in at that time, the competition wouldn't have been as massive. I read the report and the plans for it, brothers and sisters, that Dominica's population would not be able to suffice for the production that of which cannabis can bring. If Dominica had entered into it, scary coming on stage and say cannabis is not a growth factor for Dominica, and people not seeing. You see, I think the problem is people put a lot of faith in their leaders, hoping that the leaders do the right thing for the people, brothers and sisters. Sometimes, most times, I say sometimes because I can think of a number of leaders that did not do things for themselves. They did their stuff for the people. If I'm correct, I think it's Uruguayan president. He was given about 90% of his salary, if I have the correct country right there, brothers and sisters. Or Hungary, I think it's Uruguay. Given about 90% of his salary because he's checking the kind of thing and he's driving a little. Scary them moving to mansions saying the country not doing good. They increase their salaries, brothers and sisters, saying the country not doing good. And people watching it happening to them. Just like we see inflation in the United States, people watching that happen to them. Record-breaking inflation. And people still going to DNC and Democrat. Really? Really? Boy. Hey guys, anyways, tune in for the next reaction. I'll be doing a bit later on today, man. I just had to drop this. Of course, I'll post this link in the description below so you guys can check it out, the article itself. And with that said, guys, what are your thoughts, man? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. This is pretty much all about for this here reaction vibrations. Click the thumbs up button and subscribe if you've not done so yet. Click subscribe, click the bell, and click all so you'll be notified when I drop my videos right there and then. Anyways, guys, about Mystelics once again, guys. Be real, salute the king, be positive.